all of you as a show of appreciation for your support, your kindness, and your generosity. As many of you know, the music we listen to, and in some cases even make as teenagers, is often the most emotionally resonant and powerful music that we have in our lives. And while I didn't have the opportunity to know Connor, I've learned that he was enthralled when he was here by the elective course, the history of rock and roll. So it was from one boy's love of music that you, the community, have helped create something that is totally unique here in Sacramento, an on-campus recording studio. I'm so pleased to say that this semester we're offering our first elective in the newly opened space. It's a class called Remix, and it's taught by our French teacher, Eric Henyon, who I saw here a while ago. Oh, right here, front and center. And what's happening in there is working in the studio, the kids are building audio tracks. They're using various musical stems and techniques as sampling and sequencing and mastering. This ain't your father's elective course, right? This is something truly, truly unique, and this recording studio sets Country Day apart from any other school in the region that I know of. And that class, Remix, is just the beginning. In our shared vision, we hope to draw students from all over the area to our school to make and record music. Perhaps there's a group of Sacramento kids out there who are going to be the next Cake or the next Deftones. They might get their start from the tracks that they lay down in our studio, or maybe we'll have the next producer, the next Brian Eno or Quincy Jones, or for the younger and hipper among us, Ronnie J or No ID. I don't know who these people are. But again, the purpose of tonight and all of this would not be possible without the support of those of you here tonight. We thank you for your generosity, for your love, for your support of the school and of the family. So even though he already introduced himself, I bring back to the stage to introduce Steve.
I realize we have the same speechwriter because mine starts with labor of love as well.
You should have gone first.
I should. You know, Lee, I'm honestly thrilled to hear that your vision is what we hoped it would be. Because this started as a reflection of, and those of you who were with us 2 years ago at a fundraiser that Chuck and Deborah Hansen very graciously hosted for us, I told a story and went on far too long about how we realized Connor didn't just love music and love rock and roll, but he used his phone and his MacBook to record and go back and improve and watch it and do something better. And that kept his music interest alive. And I thought, you know, wouldn't it be great if all the kids in Country Day could do the same? And as I've sat here just this evening and watched a few cycle through with their eyes wide open because many of them haven't seen it yet, I think it's a gift not only to our community and to the rest of you from Sacramento whose children may not go here, as shameful as that is, but it should be a gift to all of Northern California, because we did do research, and there is not a facility like this within hundreds of miles in either direction. So I honestly hope that we have the capacity and the ability as a Country Day community to welcome in people from around Northern California and really put ourselves on the map. But I did want to use the opportunity to thank a series of individuals, which is why I wrote it out, because I will likely forget some people, and for that I apologize in advance, but it's important. Labor of love to me means that there are individuals who gave of themselves. Many of you wrote very generous checks, and that's very, very important, and we are deeply grateful. But there are folks here who gave hundreds of hours of their professional time and capabilities. The journey started with Jens Egerlund, who's trying to hide in the back, one of my dearest friends, and a former Country Day family. And Jens, within a few weeks of the terrible event, grilled me on what was it that we needed to do to remember Connor, and he guided me down the journey of coming up with this idea of a recording studio, not just a music studio. I brought it to Steve Repsher. It took a little bit of convincing, I'll be honest with you, because it's quite outside the box thinking. But Steve grabbed a hold of the idea and embraced it, and most of his administration and faculty did as well. They all do now, but they certainly did at the beginning. He then sent me to Chuck Hansen. Chuck Hansen, I don't think is here. I think Deborah Hansen may be here. I was told she was coming. But Chuck Hansen is a Country Day father. He has a professional recording studio a few miles from here. And Chuck not only hosted the fundraiser that I mentioned 2 years ago, but he introduced me to Peter and Jeff. Peter's not here. He's the sound engineer who built the studio. Jeff Tamalier is inside. I encourage you to go. You'll know who he is. He just looks like a rock and roll dude. He's toured with a number of bands. He's very accomplished. But Jeff and Peter were here week in and week out for almost a year and a half. They were the designers. They understood how you have to build one of these facilities. What we then did, with Jens's encouragement, was get Ken Dyer, who was one of the best builders in Sacramento. Ken is here. Ken brought his crew in, and I know for a fact that this was essentially a pro bono effort by Ken. He did this for little to no financial gain. He did it out of respect for us as a community and friendship to me and my family, and I thank you for that very much, Ken. Curtis Pop along the way came in with design ideas. That was very, very grateful. Louis Kaufman, I actually went out of order. Louis Kaufman is an architect who spent weeks and weeks and came up with a very specific architectural design, didn't charge anybody a penny, stayed with us for months to make sure that it was followed through. Jay, you and Sal came in and saved the project halfway through. We were running a little bit short on funds. We were running a lot long on the project build out, and you saw us through to the end. And again, for all of the faculty, all of the board, all of you, very important roles. I want to thank you all, but I just wanted to be able to name a few individuals who, above and beyond the financial commitments, gave of their expertise, their talents, their time, out of respect for each of us. And it's a wonderful gift, I think, that we've all collectively built for ourselves, for our children, for Sacramento. So thank you very much.